Hi guys, and welcome back to Authentic Analysis with Kay. Today I thought I'd make a video, kind of chit chat, but I don't think I can multitask. So I was going to talk about this video that I saw on Instagram. I might talk about it in and out, but it's about, I don't know if you've seen it. It was on the I don't know if it's Shade Bar or UK Gossip, but one of those Instagram sites where this woman, she was talking about how if you're not born in Jamaica, you're not Jamaican. That was basically it to the point. And I mean, I guess I can get what she's saying, but I don't think it's as simple as that. But I'll probably talk about that later in the video, or I'll make a separate video about what I think about that. But I thought I'll just go through my family tree, what I found, and basically just go through the family members that I have attached and what problems I'm facing, basically. So stay tuned. Okay, and I'm back. So I'm here on Ancestry. So I have quite a few family trees. That is not it. So I've got all these family trees, and basically because I'm trying to find my granddad's dad, I've looked up the name of Arthur Reed and tried to basically build up with all the Arthur Reeds that I could find with the information that matches and see if it connects with anyone, but I haven't found that yet. It does get a bit tiring and tedious sometimes. But when I get the burst of motivation to do it, I go back and try and go over the tree. So from what I know from my granddad's matches, I know that if he is Arthur Reed, whoever he is, he's got a close Simpson match somewhere. So it could be a parent or grandparent, but I know that the link to find who the right Arthur Reed is Simpson somewhere. Because majority of my granddad's matches on his paternal side are from St. Elizabeth. Not even majority, I think like all got a St. Elizabeth link somewhere. Which I'm surprised. It doesn't really have much family in Kingston from the matches. So I've been looking at any close family to and Arthur Reed Simpson and trying to work from there. So either my granddad's father was a secret child, or I don't know. So that's the problem. But I'm not sure if I might go through that. I may or may not go through that, but I'll just go through what I have so far. So yeah. So this is my granddad. I'm underneath, but I don't really need to go from me because my tree is something completely different. So I probably won't go through there because a lot of the people on the tree that I've made from my paternal side are alive, so I don't really want to show the names. But yeah, 99% of my granddad's side, because obviously he was born in 1931, his ancestors, relatives have passed away. So hopefully no one minds if they see this. So I've started the tree. It's my account, but I started the tree from my granddad because my granddad's got the most matches, and I was more interested in finding my granddad's matches because he's got second to third cousins. So if I started from me, obviously to me it would be like third and fourth and so on and so forth. So it's just easier for me to start with my granddad, and obviously I know he's my granddad, so I know pretty much how they'll be related to me. So it's my granddad. He was born in Kingston. And this is his wife, but I'm Olive, my grandma. But I'm gonna probably maybe do this in a separate video or to go back to that later. So, according to my granddad's birth certificate, okay, I can't show it on Family Search, and if I dig it up, it'll be hard to read. I might pause in and out just to make sure the video's still, because I don't want it to all of a sudden just go. Oh my god, I was talking this whole time and I didn't even press record. Bloody hell. So, as I was saying, sorry. So on my granddad's birth certificate, you've got Zarifa Millwood. Sorry, yeah. So excuse other names. I'll explain later why I see all these names here. And on the birth certificate, my granddad's one, he won't find it on Family Search because he was born in 1931. So anything after that, it won't be there. So on the birth certificate, it says Zarifa Millwood, and it said the occupant was Arthur Reed. Now, my granddad's always said to me that his dad's name was Arthur Reed. That's what his mum told him. He was from St. Thomas, and he wasn't a fisherman, but he did work on a boat. So that's all I already got from there. But it could have been a thing where on my granddad's birth certificate, because um, my great grandmother Zarifa, so I'm going to show she had a partner. So Norman Benjamin Alfred Codlin, they got married. Let me go to his, because I can't remember the date when they got married. So they got married in 1925. Okay, so bear that in mind. So I'm just going back and forth, so it's a bit slow. I feel like the internet is so slow during the day, but it shouldn't be because everyone should not be at home. So my granddad always said that his mum Zarifa was Miss Codlin because that's who she got married to. So my granddad was born in 1931. So there's a lot of things that cross reference, and it's not for judgment or whatever. I'm just going by what I see, what facts, certificates, so whatever. I don't really care who had kids in marriage, out of marriage, with someone young, older. Well, let me not say young, but you know what I'm saying. So anyway, so Zarifa and Norman got married in 1925. They got married and didn't have any kids that I know of together. So my granddad was born in 1931, and my granddad's mum, my great grandma, was married to him until she died. So I don't know, obviously, the extent of their relationship. Obviously, I don't know. Sorry, my nail's broken. If they were cohabiting together, but my granddad said he knew Mr. Codlin, like he saw him about or whatever. I don't really know if they lived together or whatever the circumstance. I'm not sure if they did because my granddad never really mentioned it. He just always said it was him and his mum. So maybe they got married before he was born, didn't work out, and she never got divorced or whatever the case may be. But obviously, she was listed as when she died as Zarifa Codlin and not Millwood. But I can't remember if he died, was she listed on his? But he's got a few different names, and the only reason I haven't really looked into Codlin because he's not related to me technically. So not he's not technically he's not related to me, so that's why I didn't really look into his tree. And I don't like to add branches of people that are not related because then I feel like I'm just starting to look into things that I shouldn't. But please let me know if I should look into husbands and wives of the relatives. Do you look into their tree, or is it not something that you really look into? So please let me know. So Zarifa got married in 1925 and she had my granddad in 1931. So my grandma had a kid with somebody else in the time that she was legally married. And obviously she wanted to say it was somebody else that she could have, but obviously she didn't. But the thing is with him being occupant on the birth certificate, I know my granddad's always said to me that Arthur was his dad, but my granddad obviously is a lot older. He's in his 90s, so sometimes he does remember things wrong. Or maybe his mum, that's what his mum said. Sorry, the mailman just bloody put the letters in, or whoever's put the leaflets in loud. He could have been a brother of my granddad's dad. It could be somebody else. But obviously my granddad's Frank Reed and he's got the same last name, so there must be some relation there. So like I said before, I would go from this name and see any Simpsons that I can find anything close. Yeah, but I'm just thinking, should I change the way I do it? But I'll go back on that. So anyway, yeah. Sorry, I'm going off topic now. Yeah, so these are Zarifa's parents. So out of the kids that my granddad said he's got aunties. So my granddad's got the auntie. This is the auntie that he told me that he remembered. Give me 2 seconds. Phone's ringing. I feel like the amount of times you block these kind of calls like this, you still get them. Anyway, so from what my granddad said, he said he remembered he had 4 aunties. So the 4 aunties he remembered was Golden, Millwood, and he remembered Golden because his cousin, which is, sorry guys, this is ridiculously slow. Yeah, his cousin was I called her Mrs. Edwards. Her name was Cinderella. I didn't actually even know that until I would say like 6 years ago, which is no less than 6 years ago. It was probably like 3 years ago. So he remembered his Aunt Golden. He remembered he had an Aunt Dinah. He said he had an Aunt B. and he said there was a fourth one. He had four aunties, but I don't think he told me the name. But I'm thinking him probably was Adassa, but he didn't tell me the name. So, but with his cousin, so obviously I'll refer to her as Miss Edwards because that's what we called her. Miss Edwards lived in the UK as well, and she told me her mum's name was Golden. So when I looked up Golden Millwood, I could find a marriage certificate, and she listed her dad as Joseph, but I couldn't find a birth certificate. So when I spoke to my Mrs. Edwards, she would be my half first cousin once removed. So Mrs. Edwards would be my first cousin, half first cousin once removed. I'm sure. I'm sure. Let me click on her. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. I'm still wrapping my head around the terms and who's the first cousin, second cousin. I do understand the cousin comes from your great grandparents. Yeah, so to me, so the first cousin twice removed, that's to me. Or twice removed. So, okay. So she's my first cousin twice removed. Why did I say one? Yeah, obviously it's twice removed. Sorry, because obviously I forgot my mum as well. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so she's my first cousin twice removed. But I just realised now I think I'm on the wrong tree because I'll tell you why when it goes back. Yeah, this is what I was going to make it a point. So Mrs. Edwards' daughter said to me that her grandmother's name was Louise. So now I'm thinking that they're only half first cousin. They got the same granddad, but they don't have the same grandma. The same grandma, my granddad and Miss Edwards. But what was I trying to say? I was kind of shocked. I always assumed that it was full first cousins because my granddad said when they grew up, they grew up in the same family home. So obviously, I don't know the relationship. Obviously, Golden, which is my granddad's auntie, was at his grandma's house, but that grandma wasn't her mum. So I do need to adjust that actually, because I don't really still see why it says um, first cousin. Because I'm pretty sure I added Joseph as having another spouse. I did. Sorry, guys, it is lagging. Yeah, so I add Louisa on there, and I only think that's the mum, but I haven't found any um, records. I found one Louisa and one Golden that went together on Family Search, but I don't know. Some of it didn't really match up, so I wasn't sure if that's right or not. But I will go back over that again. But obviously, like I said, Louisa isn't related to me, so I didn't really look too deep into it. So I went through that generation, like my granddad's aunties, to see what I could find and go from there. But obviously, the side branches are important. But obviously, I wanted to go through the up branches. Um, so these two, Joseph Millwood and Amelia, these are the ones that I'm sure of. So now we got Robinson Millwood. So when Joseph and Amelia got married, Robinson Millwood um, was listed as a father. So Robinson Millwood, this is me to me is like the base because when you look up Robinson Millwood, there's loads of kids born. Well, not let me say born, but loads of kids that have got married or people that have been born in St Andrew and listed their father as Robinson Millwood. So I always try and go from there and work side because I feel like he is the link to why there's a lot of matches on the maternal side. Well, I haven't found that link yet, but that's what I'm thinking. Might be wrong. And Amelia's right because I know that was Zarifa's mum, and on her marriage certificate, on their marriage certificate, Robert Edwards is listed as dad. Now the problem, what gets complicated, is finding the mums for these people. It's like when they get married, it's easy to find, but when it's like when you're finding a birth certificate, it's so difficult because they could be registered under a different name. And Robert Edwards is such a common name. Like Robert Edwards could be anywhere. Obviously, Robinson Millwood is a not so common name. Um, but Robinson Millwood was born in 1816 and died in 1917. So 101, or maybe he was in 99. Yeah, 101. Sorry, he was 101. So There's another Robinson Millwood that is from St Thomas, and obviously I was speaking to somebody on my ancestry, and people get those two mixed up. But obviously the other Robinson Millwood was born in like 1840, so there's a big age difference on where they're from. And from what I know, my granny's maternal side isn't from St Thomas. Not they're saying they can't be, but yeah. So when I tried to look up Robinson Millwood, I couldn't. So some of the things, that's why obviously I've been advised, and obviously I've learned for myself, just because you put someone in your tree and and it comes up with the hint to say somebody else got them in a tree, doesn't mean it's always right. Because obviously for me, I've put Benjamin Millwood as Robinson Millwood's father, and I put Jane Cliff only because now obviously Robinson could be his, when he was born here, could put him under any name, and obviously the further back you go, it's not as easy to find the records as opposed to the later ones that's got the parents' names, um occupation. Not saying it doesn't, but it does get a bit harder the further back you go sometimes. And the only reason why I found this one is because when I looked up there was a what do you call it, a baptism record. So a lot of times you won't find a birth record, but someone please let me know if you find a baptism record, will that person have a birth record as well somewhere else that you can find, or is it most likely they just have baptism record? Um, so let me know. So Robinson, when I looked up Robinson Millwood, there was a Robinson Millwood. I'm going to look this up as well. But he wasn't registered as Robinson Millwood, so I can't speak today. He was, I think, registered a Robert Millwood. So the names are like, all over the place. So I'm going to go for Millwood. I know. Let me type the dad's name. Uh, Benjamin Millwood. I don't know if it's going to come up. I can't remember how I found that record again. Obviously, the Millwood name was variated between Millward. It's still Millwood, probably, but spelled a bit differently. Um, let's see if I can find it. It's Benjamin Millwood. This is the. Sorry, guys, I'm just looking to see if I can find it. Yeah, so this record is the one that I found for Robert Millwood. But when I did look up a Robert Millwood, there is another Robert Millwood that's around St Andrew. So I didn't want to. I'm not even sharing the screen. Sorry, I'm going back and forth in Family Search, so that's why I haven't shared my screen yet. So before there, I found a birth date, but I put it as an about because I'm not sure of him or not, and I put Benjamin on there, even though I'm not sure if that's his dad, just to see what hints I came up with to see if it takes me anywhere. Sorry, the page is still loading. It is ridiculously slow. So this is what I found, and I'll explain when it does get there. Bloody hell. Okay, as soon as I pressed this tab, it started loading a little bit. Oh, it's so frustrating. When I do get these records, let me refresh the page. It's ridiculous. If it carries on being this slow, I don't think I can even deal with this day because this is ridiculous. I'm not used to being home during the day, so that's why I'm like all over the place. But I'm gonna pause it until it loads and come back. Transcript. So this is on the Family Search. I'm probably going to make a part one and part two because I don't want it to get too long and people turn. Sometimes in the same baptismal record, I will look through to see if any other names pop out of me because I feel like sometimes in the same period you'll get the dad registering hella kids in the same period. So this is the record I was looking up. Where's it gone? So you got Robert Millwood, and the baptism date was 31st December 1823. And sometimes I feel like I see when people put the records online on Ancestry or their family tree, they put the baptism record as the birth record, and it gets confusing because obviously sometimes it can be off. So when I looked into this, so you can see Robert Millwood, son of Jane Cliff, free. I'm sure this is to do with her being a free woman, I think. And it was son of B. Millwood, and I guess so Jane Cliff and Bill Millwood. And it said that this kid, the one on the thing on the right hand side is when they were born. So everyone was roughly born 1823, which is when his baptism record, or 1821. He was 6 years old. So 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, which takes you to about 1817. So it's about 1 year off of when Robert Millwood was born. And the reason where I got 1816 from is because when he died, he was listed as 101. And on his death record, Joseph Millwood was there. So not saying just because he was there, that means he was dad, but So then you got Edward Millwood, that was born, that was put on his. He was baptized on the same day. He was a son of. I can't even read it clearly. It says Mary Millwood, free. I mean, for and then by B Millwood, so the same possibly Bill Millwood, but he was born 3 months ago. So 3 months ago, he was still born in 1823, but just 3 months. So they baptized, I assume, the same kids, the siblings. Obviously, the dad had two different kids with two different women, but maybe was married to one, but one was 6 years prior. Doesn't mean that there isn't another Robert Millwood, but that's why I came to the conclusion of thinking that Robert Millwood was Robinson Millwood. So I'm going to go back to my ancestry tree. So on that record, you can see Edward Millwood, which I didn't really find too much about. I put about 1823 because it's 3 months, it's not going to be exactly 3 months. And then I found another record for Catherine Millwood. But obviously got Mary. And now I'm thinking from my scene records, I think it's a Mary Chapel, but I haven't really looked too deep into that yet. So obviously these blue markers of got the little family symbol is through lines. So it's saying this is my direct line. So obviously you've got the people on the sides that are obviously related, but you've got the lines that are like, say when you got someone that matches you, you got an ancestor that matches you. So if Robertson Millwood, if me and John Smith was connected through lines, it would say you got this common ancestor, Robertson Millwood, but that hasn't really happened for me yet, which is, I wish it did because it would be nice, but I haven't really found that link yet. So other people got their tree wrong, or I got my tree wrong. But this is maternal side, so I don't really have a lot of maternal matches in comparison to paternal matches. So I've gone up from there. I still don't know if this is accurate, but I put it on a tree just to see what it gives me. So obviously I put my tree. I think it's private, but yeah, I haven't got any further yet because my granddad's second great grandparents. So maybe I'm thinking I should do one more just to see what it brings me to. So obviously I've got Jane Cliff. I do get some hints, but I haven't really gone into that yet. So that's how far I am with Robertson Millwood. I've had people on the tree connected to Robertson taking it off, gone back on, taking it off, because I just wasn't sure as of yet what was the right one. So with Joseph Millwood, obviously I'm not sure what he was registered under, but I found a Joseph Millwood on his death certificate. It said that he possibly was born 1861. I found a Joseph Millwood that was born 1870, so it is off by 9 years, which is quite a lot. So I'm not even sure if that's the correct Joseph Millwood. But that Joseph Millwood, I think, had a Robert or Robertson Millwood attached to that, so that's why I might have put it, but I can't remember off my head right now. So you've got Amelia, obviously, like I said, you've got Robert Edwards, and let me put these branches down. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so Robert Edwards, sorry. My granddad's got a few matches on there that has Edwards, and I was able to link them, so I know that roughly I'm on the right line. Might not be 100% accurate, But I'm not going to focus too much on the Edward side. But maybe I should, because maybe that's where the relatives are. But I'm quite interested on the Millwood side. Like, that's where I want to find what the links are. But in my granddad's current matches, he doesn't really have any Well, not. I mean, he might have one Millwood match that is way back. So I might look into that later on. So obviously, I've gone through this generation trying to find the kids, any variations. Um, but I'm not sure. I think most of the matches might be on this line, my granddad's grandparents line or the great-grandparents line. Um, so far, I won't say that's how much I've done, but that is so far on my maternal side. I have more information, but obviously I'm just stuck on the Arthur Reed side. Um, I'm not sure what else to show. So when I looked up Joseph, what my granddad said, so Joseph was my granddad's granddad. He said when he was growing up at Yaya's house, which it was Amelia, he don't remember his granddad being there. He doesn't remember granddad living at the house or anything like that. So um I think that Joseph, they got married, but then maybe he wasn't at the home anymore, or I don't know, he went to a different parish, whatever the case may be. But I can see quite a few Joseph Millwoods listed as a dad for a lot of women and men. Obviously, Joseph Millwood is a common name, but I'm thinking now, because obviously I'm thinking, if this is the Joseph Mill that I found, he was born in St Thomas. He could have returned back to St Thomas. But the only thing I don't understand, no, I don't understand why it's making me not think it is him, because obviously Robinson was born in Kingston, and if this is his mum, Mary, I haven't found the information. If Robinson was born in Kingston and Joseph was born in St Thomas, then Mary has to be from St Thomas, because I don't know. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, but just to be born in St Thomas and go somewhere else, and then for Joseph to meet Amelia in St Andrew, but then again, Amelia wasn't even born in St Andrew that I know of, so it's a bit all over the place with the parish, which is a bit annoying. But I know that the St Andrew link is where to focus on. So maybe I'm going to go back and look at the Joseph Millwoods that is listed as dads for kids in St Thomas, because I have a feeling that this Millwoods from St Thomas and St Andrew are linked. I just haven't found that link yet. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna look at that part of the tree, and then I'll come back with a part two to maybe go over the Arthur Reeds that I've looked so far and the other trees that I made. So thank you for watching this part one, and I'll be back with a part two.